Well, they did it. We finally got that PS5 Pro announcement, and the sticker shock is here. It is $700 for a digital-only PS5 Pro. But there's a few questions I have, some things that they didn't mention that I just want to go over really quick today. But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I'd love for you to stick around. Now let's get into it. The PS5 Pro is supposedly about 45% faster than the PS5. It has advanced ray tracing so that you get even better reflections and lighting, and a PlayStation Super Resolution, which is driven by AI upscaling. And a lot of those things were predicted or leaked in some way, but then we get these shots of the PS5 Pro next to the PS5. And, they're talking about how much better it looks, how we can get 60 frames per second out of a fidelity image, where we couldn't do that before. It was kind of locked at 30 when you wanted that better image and better ray tracing. But then they started doing this, where they would have the image and then they would scale it down and then try to zoom in on it just barely, and you can kind of tell that the image on the left is worse than the image on the right. But this part of the presentation is where it started to get sketchy for me, because instead of narrowing it down to that small image and then kind of barely zooming in, why didn't they blow that part up full screen so we could actually really see the differences here side by side? I originally was watching this on my phone, and I had to squint to be able to tell that there was any kind of difference in the image. It's a little easier on a computer monitor, but it just feels a little sus to me for them to not have blown this image up and really shown those details, which kind of makes me think that normal people playing on a normal TV are not really going to be able to tell much of a difference here. Now, before we go much further, I just want to say I'm a huge PlayStation fan. I love their franchises. Ghost of Tsushima was one of my probably top 3 favorite games of the last 5 years. I really like Spider-Man. There's so many Ratchet and Clank. There's so many great things that they have that I really enjoy. God of War's been great. The Horizon series has been awesome. So I'm not trying to be some kind of Sony hater here. I really enjoy my PS5, but I just question if this is really worth upgrading to, especially for $700 with no disk drive. Which brings me kind of to my next point, is that this doesn't have a disk drive. It was very noticeable in the presentation when they showed the image of the PlayStation 5. And my real question is that there was no mention of the attachable disk drive that they announced when they updated the current PlayStation 5 to this more slim model. And when you look at that slimmer model, you can kind of tell that that side part comes off and the disk drive fits in there where that side panel would detach, like right here. You can see that the side panel kind of detaches and the disk drive can be implemented into the system. But when you see the PS5 Pro, and I'm going to slow this down here, as it pans down, is this the same size as the new PS5 Slim? Because it looks like it's quite a bit taller, almost like the original PlayStation 5. And when you get over here to the side, is that side panel detachable? Why don't we get a clear look at the left side of this thing? We can only get to see it at this angle. I'm not sure that that disk drive is going to attach. Is it going to be somehow implemented over USB-C? Or will it just not be usable at all? So quick update, as I was editing the video, they did announce on the PlayStation blog that you can attach the $80 disk drive to the PS5 Pro. We know that Sony wants to push for a digital-only future so that they can better control the sale of their game and make more, because they'll be selling it really pretty much only on their storefront. So is this the beginning of that? I don't know, and they didn't say, and that's why I'm making this video. Another thing that they did not confirm is what is the SSD size. A lot of people were speculating 2 terabytes, but I don't know that they're going to be that generous. I actually think it's going to be a 1.5 terabyte drive that they put in here. And they did not mention, with all of these updates to these older games, is that not going to increase the file size of these games? And if so, how much is it going to increase the file size of those games? And then there's that price, which they throw up there and take away pretty quickly and just end the show with the price. But notice how it is marketed in all of the shots we see of this. It's marketed in vertical mode with that stand, but the vertical stand is sold separately right there on the bottom. That's going to be another $30 if you want this to look as cool as it can with it vertically. It just doesn't look as nice horizontally, and that's why you almost always see the shots of it in its vertical mode. So now you're looking at $730, and then if you can attach a disc drive and you want that because you have PS4 and PS5 games that you bought on disc, well, there's another $80. So now you're looking at $810 plus tax. That is a big ask of people, especially when PlayStation has been consistently raising the price of the PS5. A year from now, is the PS5 Pro going to be even more than that? And with the global economy the way that it is right now, if you're looking at spending $900 with taxes on this device, would it not be almost better to just buy a gaming PC or upgrade your current PC with a better graphics card? Especially as Sony seems to be creeping toward releasing games day and date on PC and PlayStation. And then my last question is, what kind of I/O does this really have? We don't get any images of the back of the PlayStation. We get a quick glimpse of the front, and it looks like it has 2 USB-C ports on the front of the device. Nothing about the back. Do we even get an Ethernet port on the back for people who want more consistent online play and lower latency? Or is that going to be some kind of separate attachment too that works over USB-C? These are the questions that I have that just were not answered about this device, and I think they're valid ones. And again, I'm a big PlayStation fan, so I want to see them succeed. I want to play their games and their franchises for years to come. Side note, the vegetation and reflections here in Horizon look so good in these clips that they showed us. But what are your thoughts about all of this? Are you ready to upgrade to a PS5 Pro? Did what they show off here today excite you in any way? If you don't have a PS5 currently, would you pick the PS5 Pro over the current PS5? I guess we'll see how all this pans out. It does launch on November 7th, and that's pretty exciting. But until next time, this has been Bono's Gaming. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and all that jazz. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.